Okay, so why is this crazy?
So they had some kind of staff upset tonight, and so the tribal chief is the one doing our tour, and we're out there, and the trail's way up there, and he's like, "Oh, we have all these fences up, so the tourists can't get down here. But just step over the fence, and then I'll take you out onto here, and so we can take pictures of you out in front of the geyser cauldron thing, with all the things showing where they're going to."
Where are they at? Oh, they're out there by the steam.
So we're gonna go next.
Hey guys, it's Tim and Kathy with Taste Life with Us, and as you probably know, we sold everything and we're traveling full time now. And we're coming to you today from Bali. It's that time again. It's the 2-month review of where we've been, what we've done, and how much did it cost.
And we wrapped up Waiheke, and on February 1st, we moved on to other places. We're going to show you all the fun things that we did in North Island, New Zealand, including the Gatsby time at Napier. We're going to show you the road trip we took around South Island, New Zealand. And then at the very end, so be sure you stay tuned, we fly for free on the best airline in the world.
Yep.
To the #1 airport in the world.
Yep.
Where we stay in the #1 airport hotel in the world.
All for free.
All for free. And then we came to Bali. And you're going to get to see just a sneak peek of that before next month. So stay tuned to the end. We got a lot of fun stuff to show you. We're going to keep the numbers light, let you mostly read it for yourself. Mostly just tell you all the fun we had.
Yes, we will. All right, let's get started on this review. So we've got the travel day video, so you can see that with us leaving Waiheke and heading towards Rotorua.
Yes, we'll pop that up at the end. But right now, we're going to give you the highlight of Rotorua.
Absolutely. The hotel was good. The time was good, but we did something really special. We hung out one night at a geyser exploration, I guess you call it.
Yeah, it was like a geyser tour of this volcanic park. Rotorua is very volcanic. And the person who was supposed to be the guide apparently didn't show up for work.
No.
And so the chief of the tribe decided to guide the tour.
He didn't know what he was doing.
No clue. So he just showed us his favorite places and told us about growing up literally in this volcanic park, swimming in these geyser pools. Then he said, "Hey, what a cool picture if you guys all come out on the geyser field and I'll take pictures with you."
Literally, there's like a wire fence that goes through it. There is a gate there, but it's locked. And he's like, "I don't have a key to the gate. So here, let's just step over the wires." And he literally held the wires down and up as we all crawled through to get onto the geyser field. And
Okay, so why is this crazy?
So they had some kind of staff upset tonight, and so the tribal chief is the one doing our tour, and we're out there, and the trail's way up there, and he's like, "Oh, we have all these fences up, so the tourists can't get down here. But just step over the fence, and then I'll take you out onto here, and so we can take pictures of you out in front of the geyser cauldron thing, with all the things showing where they're going to."
Where are they at? Oh, they're out there by the steam.
So we're gonna go next.
then he took us out 2 at a time.
Way out there.
Took our
It
picture.
was crazy. We're like, it seems a little dangerous, but I mean, we're with the chief. He grew up here. He
Yeah, we're not going to get in trouble.
And so it turned out to be the coolest, unusual experience ever. So fun.
What did we
We
do
got
there?
together with some other nomad friends. That was really
Yes.
fun. We went to Lake Taupo.
Yes, we did.
Beautiful lake. We saw the big thing where all the water rushes down the gorge like they had in the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, so they filmed Lord of the Rings, as you probably know if you're a Lord of the Ring fan, over there in New Zealand. And so there's an area where they release all the water out of the dam and it all rushes down, and that's what they filmed. Yeah, we got to see that. That was kind of cool.
After Rotorua, we took the intercity bus again, which is like their thing that goes around the whole country. Took that bus down to Napier. If you're not familiar with Napier, it is this super cool town right in the middle of the Hawke's Bay wine region.
Yes, wine.
And the whole thing like had a huge earthquake and burnt down in the 1930s.
Yep.
So all the architecture of everything we built is during that time period. And it is cool. It's like walking back in time.
Yes.
And they capitalize on it, don't they?
They do. We stepped into the festival of Art Deco in Napier, which is where everybody just kind of dresses up and exists as if it was in the 1930s.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie, the festival tickets were not cheap, but they have maybe like 30 different events going on, and they're in all different price points, and a lot of them are free, like the dog show. So cute. We'll show you that. Free. Air show free. Big public picnics. Everyone's dressed up. Car shows. All that's free. All that experience.
Yes.
We went to like a...
went to a cabaret.
I guess that's what you call it. I think it was a little racier than that, but I can't remember what the name was.
It was cabaret.
Yeah, and we went to hear some other music and jazz, and
yes, we did. We did
the gin tasting.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, they have the most beautiful distillery there.
Yes, it was beautiful. And again, it's part of that Art Deco theme. It was rebuilt in that time zone, so it was kind of really neat to see.
Yeah, it was beautiful. We actually had a ball in Napier, and we blew the budget a little bit. Our tickets came to about $450 for all the events that we chose to do. Could have spent more, could have spent less.
As you can tell, we're sitting outside in Bali, so it's like every other minute it's a bug. So that's okay.
They had great restaurants there.
They did.
They had fantastic wineries.
They did. We did a bicycle tour. So here's the thing. All this is on the Napier video. So check out our Napier video and you can kind of see what we did there. Everything from the beaches to the wineries to the Gatsby Festival.
So our month-long stay at our awesome Verbo there in Napier was $2,476. It's not a cheap place.
No, it's not.
And all the wine tasting wasn't either. And we did a lot of it.
Transportation wasn't even safe. Safe, yes. Cheap, no.
The transportation, we rode a lot of beam scooters, and that was pretty funny. Us in our Gatsby clothes and my lace dress racing up the hill.
And that was the problem. The Verbo was on top of a hill.
That's how we got it so cheap. Yeah.
All right. So that is Napier. Like I said, see the video. We'll kind of sum up the prices as we get going along here.
Yes. And we did also, so all of that was prepaid. We did actually have to pay for the Rotorua accommodation, and it was $322.
Okay.
Okay. So after that, we flew from Napier down to
Christchurch.
Wellington.
Wellington, yes,
Wellington. At the very south tip of the North Island.
So we stayed down in Wellington for about a week, but it wasn't quite in Wellington. It was in a suburb called Plumerton.
Yeah, that was our first week of March. And
oh my word, what a beautiful place.
We're popping up pictures of this place because the view was incredible.
Yeah, we actually only went into Wellington like one day and walked around and did some of the things that everybody does. We took the gondola up, we walked down through the cemetery, learned some neat stuff there.
We paid $721 for 1 week at this place, and it was worth every penny. We didn't even want to leave it. We just want to sit and work on YouTube and stuff and look out the window.
Yeah, it was gorgeous. I actually sat out on the deck a couple of days and just took in the sun. It was so great.
It's a little walk into town to get the train to Wellington. It was inconvenient because it was windy.
Yeah.
And a little rainy and cold, but it was beautiful. And so we also went on a wine tour there. We've never done that before.
We're not big wine tour people. We much prefer to pick out our wineries and do all of that. We're wine snobs.
No, we're not.
But, so we went on this tour because it was just out of the way to get to the wine region of Wellington.
Yeah. And that was a little extra money, but honestly, I didn't even think the wine was that great.
Wine snob.
Probably won't even cover that on the Jude channel. Okay. Anyways, though, we did
Moving
that.
on.
It was fun. We got to do it just to see, right?
Yep.
How do you know if you don't try?
Absolutely.
Okay, so after that, we caught a plane down to Christchurch, New Zealand.
Yes.
We're there for 3 days at the Terra Viva Suites.
Which was beautiful.
Kind of like a little studio apartment hotel
It was
type
just
place.
beautiful.
They had laundry. That was the most important part.
We did a couple of things there. And we did a video, so you can see that. That's the Monavale romantic time we had.
That was very nice high tea at this beautiful garden and walked
Yes.
around it.
That was really
Yes,
nice.
see that
And
video.
we're kind of botanical garden people. We enjoy
Yeah.
seeing, all of that. And we went out to the botanical gardens there in Christchurch. Did not enjoy that so much. And it was surprising to us because they had an earthquake, as most people know, several years ago.
Maybe like a decade ago. It was a long time ago.
They're still doing construction. They're still tearing down buildings.
Everywhere.
And the botanical gardens was no exception. So there
Yeah.
was jackhammers going off. And I mean, there was a lot of people enjoying it, but
Yeah.
just kind of hectic feeling.
Yeah, we did like down in that
The Riverwalk.
area.
Yeah, the Riverwalk area. And that's kind of like a restaurant, bar-y type. So, of course, we'd like it.
And lots of new things. And
yeah.
they had like almost like a indoor market, kind of like Pike's
Mhm.
Place. That was kind of cool.
It
I mean,
was.
on a much smaller degree. You
Yeah.
got to do some whiskey tasting there.
I did. And I'm not going to lie, they
That
make
was
some
fun.
great whiskey there in
That was fun.
Christchurch. Wow, that was
And
good
we
stuff.
found this really cute outdoor, kind of like an indoor outdoor tapas bar with
Mm.
live music called Vesuvio.
Yeah, that wasn't in the Riverwalk, but there in Christchurch, Vesuvio, we would go in the evening when we went, and they would have Spanish guitar or some type of guitar music, acoustic playing. That was gorgeous. That was definitely worth it.
And actually, I'm just going to say right now, we actually finished our 2 weeks in South New Zealand back in Christchurch to do
Mhm.
laundry and everything and get ready to go for Singapore
Yes.
to get our visas done.
So that's
all
kind
that
of the
stuff.
loop. Now let's talk about what happened in the South Island. Where did we go to after Christchurch?
Well, what I was going to say is we went back to Vesuvio's because we liked it so much.
We did.
I'll just throw in right now, we stayed for free the second time in an apartment, a Ramada type apartment with window points.
For a minute, I thought she said we stayed free at Vesuvio's. I was like, no, we did
No,
not.
no.
Okay.
No.
All right. So we left
Okay.
Christchurch the first time. Where did we go?
We drove down to Dunedin. Tim is
Dunedin.
getting really good at driving on the wrong side of the road.
I am.
Just
That's
gonna
quite
say,
surprising.
He's really good at it.
Um,
Dunedin surprised us.
It did. Well, we were in the Dunedin area when we took the cruise over from Australia to New Zealand.
But we only went to Port Chalmers. We didn't
Right.
go into the city. And Port
Correct.
Chalmers was really cool. We liked it.
Mm-hmm.
But Dunedin, it's very hilly.
We had a
But
car.
there was a lot of fun stuff to do. We went and visited this castle. It's the only
Yes.
castle in New Zealand. We went and visited a historic home,
Yes, we did that.
and we saw penguins. They're
Bloody
famous
cold
for this.
penguins.
Yeah. They're famous for these little blue penguins, also called fairy penguins. I don't know, they had a few names.
So
but
I'm just going to say right now, love Dunedin, great architecture, neat stuff to see, bloody cold and wet when we were there.
yeah, it's windy. Okay, so Dunedin, you can actually take excursions to the Antarctic from there. And in fact, we went to a whole thing about Antarctic up in Christchurch, right by
Yeah.
the airport. Really interesting how New Zealand's involved in Antarctic research and exploration, and all the countries go out of there
Dunedin's
because
cold.
it's so close. But you know it, like the wind feels like it's coming from Antarctic.
It does.
It's
It does.
cold.
So where did we stay in Dunedin?
We stayed in a little Airbnb.
Oh, that's right, with yellow gates.
Yes, that one
It was very adorable. I had like a mother-in-law's quarter in the back, which was the
we only
Airbnb.
spent two nights for $145.
Yeah.
But when we went to see the penguins, which you do have to book ahead to get into the penguin
Hmm.
observatory place, it was cold, windy, raining. And we were like, oh, shoot, we're only here this short time and we already have tickets for this night.
So got to do it.
And they don't close for it. You go down
They're
there,
penguins. What do they care if it's
pouring rain.
raining?
The penguins don't care. They come back from sea at night, and there's lights, and you can see them coming back in from sea.
They waddle up the
and
sand.
they were adorable.
But literally, after about the first 5 or 6, I turned to the guide and I said, "So, have we seen what penguins do?" He goes, "Yeah, this is pretty much all they're going to do all night.
Just going to be more of them. We're like, okay,
Time to
we're
go.
done.
Time to go."
We're fair weather viewers.
We saw the penguins. We conquered. We left.
Yes. A favorite thing in Dunedin. Breakfast in Dunedin. You go find a bakery. You get a flaky empanada. Tim has a meat pie.
I do like me a good meat pie.
We've got homemade twisty donut. We've got a nice latte. And
Hey, hey.
How'd you like it? Everyone kept telling us how great meat pies could be, and we had a lot in Australia and New Zealand. We were like, eh.
Okay.
These, I could have just sat there and ate it all day.
No, she couldn't. She had to share.
We had the mince and mushrooms,
Mm-hmm.
like a gravy inside, the flakiest pastry pie, hand pie you ever had. The empanadas are so good. They're just so flaky. Like, I don't even know how they made such flaky pastry. That is a hidden gem, people. Casa Valencia in Dunedin. And then bring it down here and eat it on St. Kilda's Beach in the nice warm car outside the wind, watching and listening to the waves. Some cool jazz music in your car doesn't hurt either, does it? We went to this bakery, just random, got lucky. The color of the water in New Zealand
Oh
is
my
just
gosh, it's beautiful.
unbelievable.
Yeah,
And it changes
Yeah,
all
you
the time. The
can't
oceans,
even-
the lakes.
it's gorgeous.
The water's gorgeous. So we left Dunedin, went to Queenstown.
Queenstown, beautiful place. Loved it. They have wineries.
They do. We stopped at a couple places on the way over. Actually, this one place was really interesting because they had a map on the wall, we'll show you, of all the the sub-regions around that area of the wine region and how they differ. And we tasted from each region, like a Pinot, I think, from each
Yeah.
region. And it was a great education. It was really fun.
That was a hoot. The Airbnb that we stayed at in Queenstown was actually in Arrowtown. And
Arrowtown's really cute.
the views from this Airbnb were just stunning. And the host, Peter,
3 nights for $266.
totally worth
Peter
it.
and Jilly, great hosts.
Mhm.
The view was, it was incredible. We almost didn't notice there was a backyard with this amazing view. We didn't even go out there till the last day.
Went out there and I sat out there, I think, for about an hour. So gorgeous.
We went to an ice bar. That was fun.
Like the ice bar.
Put on all these warm, cozy
They provide.
jackets that they provide and little boots, which is good because we don't have warm weather clothes. You go downstairs down into this, it's just covered in ice. You sit on ice. You drink.
Your cups are ice.
Made out of ice. The cups you get to
They have
break
all
them at
this-
the end.
Yeah, they have all this ice sculpture stuff done in there. And they said
Yeah.
it took the guy about a month to make it all.
It was beautiful, and they had
Drinks
good
were good, too.
music. They had excellent drinks. I think it was worth it for that.
Absolutely.
But of course,
It's a tourist
kind of
thing.
into our tourist attraction budget, which, if you look at the
It
chart, it
it
was a
hurt.
little high.
hurt.
Both months we did a lot of touristy things.
We did, but my feeling of South Island really is it is tourist, and you can go out there and hike
Yeah.
and explore, and there's
Mhm.
so much nature to see, and we're not much hikers.
Tons of nature. We did try. So we went to where they do the bungee jumping
Yes, we did.
outside of Queenstown, and we
Mm.
watched. We didn't do it.
No,
And then there's a walk that goes
to the wineries. So we
Some
took the
people
walk.
were riding bikes. We walked. We ended up stranded.
Oh
at
dear
the end.
Lord,
Oh my gosh, it's so far.
we were dying in the
And
heat.
it's like up, down, up, down, up, down. It was hot. So we stopped at one winery. We had a great time, some wine and tapas. And then we were walking to the next one that looks like you can go to, but you
It
can't.
was so
You're
far.
not on the road, so you can't get to the wineries in between. So we go clear out to this other one.
Beautiful river walk. You're not walking
Beautiful.
down a gorge.
So we're like, it's okay. It's now like time for it to close. Everything's closing. So we taste and we're like, oh, well, we'll just get a taxi.
Yeah,
home
we'll
from
get
here
taxi
back
or
to our
well,
car.
first we said an Uber, and the
Yeah.
lady at the winery said, "Oh yeah, we have Ubers come out here all the time."
So we weren't worried.
Couldn't get a hold of an Uber driver,
No, Uber would just spin and spin and say nothing's available.
Nope. so we called a taxi. They really did not want to drive out there,
No, they're just like, why are you calling us?
and they
Because we're
delayed.
stranded?
Yeah,
And then they're calling us back. Okay, well, it's going to be another half hour, 40 minutes.
so
So we asked the lady as she was leaving. She's leaving, like
the
they're
the
closed.
lady who gave us our tasting.
We're like, are you by any chance going back towards town? And she's like, no, I would totally give you a ride, but I'm going the other way. we're like, oh crap, you can't just go out on this highway. It's like a high-speed highway. You can't go out there and start hitchhiking or something.
So we sat there, and another worker who basically took care of the vineyards came up, and he asked us if, we had a ride.
We're like, well, we might have a taxi coming in like 40 minutes. He's like, no, I'm going to give you a ride. Come on. I'm going that way. And he was so nice. I love it when these things happen.
Here's the oddity of this. So, as a lot of you know, we're from Southern or Central California, and we're talking to this guy, and he's like, oh, where are you from? And we told him. He goes, I used to do river rafting out of the Three Rivers area, right above that. And we're like, you're kidding me. He's like, no, I stayed in Visalia.
I'm gonna look at it.
And it's like, Visalia is the town that we lived in for 20 years. Small world.
Yeah, that was crazy.
You meet people like you just can't even believe the connections that happen. And it was great. Now, do I recommend taking rides from strangers? This is a hard one, because in the U.S., absolutely not. But I tell you, the people that we've met around the world, it's been such a blessing.
You just got to be really careful.
And
it's
smart.
not the strangers trying to come and give you a ride. It's the strangers taking pity when you're lost.
Absolutely.
That's the difference. It happened in Tahiti, too. We almost got stranded. You have to go watch that video.
Yep,
It's a pretty
absolutely.
funny story. Okay, so we were in Queenstown. Then we went to Lake Tekapo.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw another lake right next to it.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember the name. But
Started with a P.
anyways, these gorgeous blue, like,
The water
they
is...
look like someone painted them or dumped paint in them.
Well,
They're so
here's the
perfect.
thing. The water has this stuff in it called glacier flour, not flowers, flour. And it reflects back the sunlight. And so the water is like this blue color that you're just like, no way is that real.
Yeah.
And it is. It's just so gorgeous.
And it changes. So, like, if
Right.
it's cloudy, it's a different color than if it's bright. At night, it looks different than it does in the morning. I mean, it's just like there's all these factors that just keep changing it. And if you stand in a different spot, it looks different. So we took probably way too many pictures.
Yeah. So, okay. So Lake
Tekapo.
Tekapo. What did we do at Lake Tekapo? We had a great
Well,
Airbnb in Tekapo.
fantastic Airbnb. We were there for 3 nights for $356. It's a very touristy area.
Yeah. While we were there,
First of all, there's not a ton to do unless you
it's a lake
want to
town.
like hike a lot. So we relaxed a lot and we really enjoyed it. We had a beautiful view from our Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
They have a super cool old little tiny church that you can
The
walk
stone
over this
church.
bridge to this stone church. And then behind it, along the lake, is, I guess you would sort of call it a beach, but
It's a rock field.
it's really just a rock field of all different sizes. And people build like little memorial towers with the rocks.
Mm-hmm.
So we did that.
Yeah, we did
For,
that.
like our family. It was kind of cool.
Yeah. We went out to see The Dark Knight.
Yeah. So
Not Batman.
they're really famous for having they're a dark sky park.
Yes.
They're designated a dark sky park. They have like super dark skies. You can see tons of stars, and you can see the southern hemisphere, of course, which is different than what the stars you see in the U.S.
All right. Disclaimer right off the get-go. If you're going to go to a dark sky night, it needs to be clear. If you're going to go to a dark sky night,
And
it
dark.
needs to be dark. So if it's a
Yeah.
full moon, half moon, bright moon, you ain't seeing that much.
So I made a little error in
That's
planning
why the
when to go
disclaimer.
to this, so that there was like a half a moon. Some friends of ours went, and it was super dark when they went, and they have amazing pictures. They could see so much.
We literally
It
saw...
got canceled the first
Well,
night.
yeah, the first
because
night
it
it
was
got
so
canceled.
cloudy.
And
They
then
had
we...
to scramble and find a different place.
Mm-hmm. And then when we went, the stars that we saw were bright, but we've seen so many more stars just where I grew up.
Just walking down a back road in the
Yeah.
country in California, we've seen like
Bajillion more stars than
bajillion
what
more
we saw.
stars than that. So it was
How much is a
disappointing
bajillion?
to
I
us.
don't know. Just want to say for the dark sky night, really research your moon cycle if you're going to
Mhm.
do it, and keep your fingers crossed on the weather cycle, because good Lord, the
Yeah.
weather changes there every other hour.
And you have to book it ahead.
Yeah.
Because it fills up. It's their main tourist attraction.
Yep.
Okay. So then we headed back to Christchurch.
Yep.
Yeah,
We
we saw
spent
a couple things on the way.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was like work for us in Christchurch, really. We were trying to get visas and
Laundry and
stuff like that.
repacking.
Is we also, while we were in Napier at the end and then some more while we were in Wellington, we did a ton of trip planning
Mm-hmm.
because we hadn't planned Bali yet.
At all.
We're here for 2 months. And this was like a month before we got here or less. We're like, we should probably book some hotels and figure out what we're doing. And
We should
where
do
we're
that.
going. We hopped on Singapore Airlines.
Yes, we did.
Fantastic airlines. There's a reason it's number one.
Oh my
Now,
Lord,
we're
it was
budget.
comfy.
We were not in the beautiful business class that they have, but it was free. Well, it was like $67 in taxes.
Woohoo!
So we flew 10 hours
10-hour
to
flight.
Singapore in economy, which was actually quite comfortable and had a lot of meals and
We got fed lunch and dinner on the plane
free drink.
and free
This
drinks.
is
Again,
economy.
yeah,
Not
this
even
is economy.
premium economy.
The other thing is, remember, I'm 6'2", 250. Economy seats are not my friend for 10 hours, and this seat was actually really pretty comfortable.
Yeah, we did great.
My knees were not touching the seat in front of me.
Yeah.
I was happy.
And then we landed at Changi Airport in
Mhm.
Singapore, which is voted the number one
Airport.
airport in the world. So what makes it unique?
Because it has this attachment called the Jewel. So how do you describe the Jewel? Basically, the Jewel is like a 3-story, 4-story mall.
Like shopping and entertainment.
But in the center of it,
Mhm.
there is this giant waterfall thing coming out of this like glass ceiling. They do a light show with it, and they have all of this garden vegetation planted around it that you can just go in and enjoy. Oh, it's picking beautiful.
The water show was amazing.
Yes,
they
it
also
was.
have a butterfly garden.
Yes, that. Okay. No one really knows this about me. I love butterflies.
Yeah,
I know
who
that's
does?
weird. I love butterflies. We've done
Mhm.
butterfly gardens before. There's just something relaxing for me to go sit in a butterfly garden and let them
Yeah.
fly around. I love it.
But hot tip, it's in Terminal 3 and it's inside of security.
Yes.
So you need to do it when you're arriving or when you're leaving, because you can't just go in there and then leave again because of your arrival visa is not going to have the right date.
Correct. Now,
Such.
that's different from the Jewel. The Jewel you can go to anytime.
Yeah,
Um,
it's outside of security.
you have to be really careful at the Jewel because it's a monstrous place and you can get
We
lost.
got so lost. There is like a train that runs around through this stuff, but
Well, here's
it
another
was
reason.
late at night. We'd been traveling all day, but I
We
don't
also
know.
stayed at the #1 hotel for airports there, which was the Crown Plaza.
Mhm, we
How much
stayed-
did that cost
Okay,
us?
so we stayed there for free with our
Oh, free.
IHG
Yay.
credit card points. But it was beautiful. But it was yeah, like we just got lost trying to get in between because it's just so big. And we were wandering around outside, inside,
It's like we
upside,
walked-
downside.
We walked outside. We're like, there's the hotel. We can get to it. And there's like these
Can't.
massive freeways going around. And we're like,
You
well, we can't
can't.
cross that.
It
We're
was
asking
crazy.
people.
It's like midnight.
I don't know how good y'all speak Indonesian. My Indonesian is horrible. And most people you find outside of an airport,
Or Balinese.
Balinese.
Oh, no, wait. We were in Singapore.
We were in Singapore.
Singaporean. That's what they speak. I don't know what they speak. It's
A-
probably
anyway,
not Balinese or Indonesian.
Mine was
Whatever they
horrible
speak.
trying
We
to
couldn't
communicate.
communicate with the taxi drivers very well to find out where we were trying to go. Anyways, we did make it back.
We did. We survived that
yeah,
one.
we explored some more the next day. They just have art installations that are cool.
Mhm.
They have a lot of stuff. You should go. If you have kids, they have tons of stuff
Oh,
for kids. It's really cool.
yeah.
We
It was.
could have done more. We just
We were there for 22 hours.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed every minute of
So
it.
hot tip, if you're going through a really cool place, book yourself a really long layover and enjoy the place.
Yeah.
And spend the night. So it broke up our flight. We flew 10 hours there, then we flew
It was
like
about two and a half hours from there to Bali.
the next day, where we checked into the Hyatt Regency Bali in
Resort.
Sanur, and it was amazing. So if you go there, you've got to use Hyatt points. It's
Got to
an
get the club
amazing
room.
deal. You got to get the club access because we hardly spent any money on food except the couple times we went out to eat with some other nomads that were there.
Correct. Yeah.
It's
So
a very social world.
the club access club room, you get free breakfast. And then
huge buffet.
A huge
and
buffet
fresh
breakfast.
to me.
Yeah, and coffee and drinks and all of that's included. And then you turn around and you go to the happy hour, which starts, I want to say, at 5
to
until
7.
7. Again, free drinks, not just discounted, free drinks. And they have a spread of food that, good Lord,
It's appetizers, but we ate dinner there
it was
almost
dinner.
every night for
yeah.
it.
And they have a selection of both Indonesian style food and us tourist style food.
Yeah.
So
And they have this spa pool that is adults only that anyone can use. You don't even have to have the club thing. And it's so peaceful and quiet. It was beautiful. It was just paradise.
So all the kids went to the other pools, and all of the adults, not all, actually very few adults went to the spa pool because it was off to the side. Nobody knew about it. Oh,
It was
just
great.
so that kind of brings us to a close on our recap of what we did. So now let's get into the numbers. So here's our kind of total sheet. You can look at all the numbers and you can see all that we did. We've already talked about some of the fun stuff. It was a rough 2 months for us, not gonna lie.
It was a great 2 months for us. That's the problem.
Okay, it was rough on the budget.
So we had known coming into this, if you haven't seen the previous budget videos, we knew we were going to expensive places. We knew we wanted to do a ton of wine tasting. And so we prepaid all of our accommodations almost so that we would have our full $4,000 a month budget to blow on all the stuff we wanted to do. And we did blow it.
And nicely, I might add.
We did. We blew it pretty well. In fact, in the 2 months of February and March, we paid a total of $7,843 in cash for our expenses, which is $3,922 average per month. So just squeaked in below the 4,000 budget. But you know what? We did it.
And again, that's assuming that we're homeless because
Well, we planned it that way.
I know
now,
we
if
did.
you look at all those numbers, and that's why I'm just giving them to you. If you don't drink and wine taste, you're saving a fortune.
Yes.
We could have stayed cheaper places, but we knew we were prepaying it, and
it
we
was
stayed
worth
great
every
places.
penny.
We loved them. So it's not a cheap area,
No.
you know, and there's even a good exchange rate right now. Sometimes it's worse. So, okay, we also are really into our thing about averaging out over
Time.
the entire 6 months.
So take a look at these numbers. 'Cause
So-
this is critical.
Over the whole 6 months, what we've spent cash, not counting prepaid stuff.
6 months or 8 months?
Oh, 8 months. I'm sorry.
Gets even better.
Okay. 8 months we've been doing this now. So what we paid cash over 8 months is a total of $22,848, which is an average of $28.56 a month. That's way below our budget.
Nice.
That's pretty good. Now, we had a lot of cruise months in there where pretty much everything was prepaid.
And we like that.
If you count everything, like all the prepaid, the fancy cruise we went on, everything,
All of that, yeah.
then it comes to $57,669, which is an average of $72.08 a month. Now, if you were touristing, that's still pretty cheap for a vacation, but
If you're living,
you
that's
know,
a little
if you're
painful.
living, that's a lot. So if you take out the excess from the cruises where like the drink package and the Wi-Fi, the stuff we didn't need, but we just had, that would have brought our average down to $6,497 a month, which is $213 a day. So I think as we go through Asia, we will see that, you know, that keeps coming down
Right.
as we spend less here. It's pretty cheap here.
It's really
is
cheap here.
really cheap here. Most of our accommodations, which you'll see next month,
Meals.
like averaging out around $34 a night, I think, or something.
Yeah. So
$33.
accommodations average out right around there.
And most include breakfast.
And the food, even when it's not included, is so cheap.
Like a whole meal for like $6 or something.
No, it's a little bit more than
Well, it
$6.
depends how many bintangs you have. Tim can stretch that a lot higher with all the bintangs, but they're cheap too. So anyways, we also, over that 8 months, have saved $8,732 in
Wow.
points.
Nice.
So if you're wanting to do what we're doing, and you don't play the credit card points game,
Start.
you're gonna have.
Start now.
You should start. Start as early as you can because it takes time to accumulate all of these.
Mm-hmm.
But also, you definitely need to figure in that you're paying for flights. We didn't pay for the Bali flight. We saved all
No.
that money. We didn't pay for a single one of our car rentals.
No.
We got them all free on points. We got different hotels free on points. We got the Crown Plaza, which we never would have paid
Oh,
cash
heck
for. We
no.
would have stayed in a cheap place. We got the Regency. We would not have paid cash for that. We would have stayed in a cheap place.
Mm-hmm.
So not only is it saving you money, but it's also giving you like a higher standard of travel.
Elevating
as
your
you do it.
game.
Yes. Our points game has elevated our travel game.
Yes.
That's just happening. So, anyways, tune in next month to see more. Click on the things that we have referred to in this video as they pop up at the end.
Yes.
And
Thank you so much for tasting New Zealand with us and the beginning of Singapore and Bali with us. And oh my goodness, I can't wait to show you the stuff we see here in Bali and what's coming in Southeast Asia. This is awesome.
been amazing. If I could say one thing, nothing is like what you see on YouTube. It is a billion times better.
Yeah.
And you need to be here where you can smell it and hear it and see it and feel it and
Yeah. You can't
Just do
even,
it.
yeah, the
at least travel.
camera cannot do justice
Yeah.
to the beauty that's around us.
It's incredible. Every day is a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, thanks again for watching with us. I hope this was useful for you. Look forward to seeing you in the future. Well, wait a second. I hope you look forward to seeing us in the future.
If you have questions or comments, we love to get them. Please
Absolutely.
put them below the video and do see the description. It has lots of links. And
Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe.